Hello everyone. Hopefully we've got that working now. Sorry for the delay in starting the show. YouTube was playing silly buggers and was messing about with me quite a lot. But we got there eventually. Had to swap over to some things. That's 2 weeks in a row that's happened to me now, so I need to investigate what's going on there. Maybe do some test streams in the week. So yes, hello, welcome. This is question time, and what this show's all about is a chance for you, the viewer, to ask any question you like, be it about Unreal Engine 4, games development in general, or anything about me and my career, my life, and so forth, my opinions and stuff. Whatever you want to know about, I'm open book. I can answer any of your questions. So, get things started, I wanted to first of all announce a giveaway. This is the first ever giveaway I've done on my channel. All you have to do is head on over to our my website. If you head over to the website, all my settings are gone, completely gone. There we are. So here we have FIFA 20 given away. Yeah, so we're gonna get loads of give away one copy to a lucky winner. All you have to do is enter the competition, answer a question, click on a few links. It's all free, nothing to do apart from answer a question, and yeah, put in for a chance to win FIFA 20. So it's the first ever giveaway I've done. Bear with me, but yeah, we'll let that run, and good luck to everyone who wants to take part. I'll be choosing winner obviously at random, and yeah, there you go. As I say, it's for any platform you wish. Cool. So let's get started with the show. Go back here. Okay, so whilst I'm here, I thought I'd show you current progress in a new series I'm developing at the moment, which is a shopkeeper sort of series. And this series is using some of the assets that came out this month from the marketplace, the free for a month marketplace. And so far, I haven't got far in it, but we've got auto camera setting stuff, and yeah, it's looking alright. So yeah, middle of development of that. That'll be coming soon. After the shooter AI in the equipment series is finished. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And I'll answer them as quick as I can. If I miss your question, don't worry, just post it again. It's just because I'm trying to read chat and answer questions at the same time, or showing people stuff, to just put up put it up again. Okay, so first question I've got is from what's this? So we got Carol47. How to save and load variables in Steam multiplayer? Um, it depends on the variables you're trying to save. If you are trying, yeah, it really depends. If you worry about server side code, it depends on how you're doing your server structure. Online multiplayers, you have to be very careful of what you do with it. So you've got client side variables and you've got server side variables. Server side variables will be saved on your dedicated server. Those will be protected. Um, and saving of those variables will depend entirely on how you've written your dedicated server. Um, yeah, depends on that. So you store that in some sort of database linked to a player ID, which is usually like logins, things like that. If it is a local client side save file, then it's exactly the same as any other save file. But be careful of what information you put into that save file, because it means the player can meddle with it and change data. So you want to put less sensitive stuff in there. Next question. So Kim North, is it possible in Unreal to create a sort of phantom trail on a character as they move? So it moves, it leaves a trail in the shape of itself. Yes, you can. It is a particle asset. The particle system, at least in Cascade and Niagara, should be the same. Is in a particle editor, you right click on here, you change the type data to ribbon, and you can set up what kind of ribbon you want it to follow, and it can make it follow the same sort of mesh. I haven't done it for a whole mesh before, but it's the same sort of effect you do with like dashes if you want the character model to stay behind and trace a little bit behind the player model itself. So yes, you'll be using ribbon data. Have to be a launching pad. Going into the full thing right now would be a long job, but there's your starting point. Look into how to use ribbon data in the particle system. Yeah, so all these assets here seen from my shopkeeper one are free. The skull, the skeleton mage thing, that's free this month, and I think this stuff was free last month. I can't remember if it's free this month or last month. I have to have a look later on. But yes, all these assets were free. The only one that wasn't free was the UI stuff, so I quickly made that shopkeep UI. Yeah, this is becoming a new series down the line for in October time for patrons. Conquester. How can you use ready teaching for 3D flying AI since there's no 3D nav mesh? My problems. Okay, so 3D flying AI. So 3D flying AI works with. You can do it with an EQS system. So if I were to create a. Oh, I haven't got hooked up in here. In EQS, you can set up the EQS points, and you can set them to be a certain height if you want. So what you can do is generate multiple EQS nodes on top of each other in a three-dimensional space. So you can do that. It could be quite costly, but that would be the way I would do it. As you correctly said, there's no 3D nav mesh, and there's no way to really accomplish that. So the next best thing is probably using a EQS system. I'd recommend a low resolution EQS, so that means like less nodes being generated out there. So yeah. Edison, can you make some tutorials on creating a simple 1 versus 1 online game? I want to get to. Oh, pardon me. I want to get to do online tutorial stuff at some point. It's just working my way towards that. As there's loads of other stuff I want to make sure I get done before then. I don't want people to rely on making online games as their first starting point, because online games should be one of the most advanced things you do in learning games development. It is very difficult, so you want to make sure you're trying to do that when you're a bit more comfortable with the engine and comfortable with games programming in general. Determinator 20. How do you save everything in the level if characters are not alive, not locations? Okay. So everything. Do you mean everything's location? If it is everything's location, when you do a saving, you will do a massive for loop, and the for loop will go through all actors. So if I just make a simple actor here, so imagine this is your save game object, and you tell it to save the game. What this would do, this would be very laggy, by the way. I would not recommend saving every object in your game. You should prioritize which ones you're saving, because this would take up a lot of time. But essentially, all you do is get actors of class, and just change the class here to actor, and that will get you everything inside the level. This would be a large list. So once you got this out, do a for each loop, and you can get its location if you want. So get location, and that location then you put into an array, and you save that array to your save game object, and that's what you do. But I would not recommend it, especially doing everything. You should keep track of what in particular you want to save. Yeah. Kim North. By the way, apologies if I yawn. It's been a long day and it's quite late here. So, Kim North, Ryan, I have noticed if you try to use set actor location in a loop, it doesn't work. Any workarounds for this? So, what you're doing in a loop. So, the way loops work. Let me just clear this. So, for example, if we've done a for loop, okay. So a for loop, if I were to change the last index to say like 5, okay, and my loop body here, I would want to do something to, say, set actor location, okay, set actor transform in this case, whatever. What you're doing in a for loop, now a game runs on a tick, for example, okay, so a tick happens, and when a tick happens, it'll go through begin play, so it sends a pulse down this line to for loop. And the for loop is going to do this 5 times. So in that one tick still, so one tick of the clock, it's going to do this 5 times. So this is in between render frames as well. So you won't see set actor location change the actor's location 5 times. You'll only see it change once. In the background, the game is changing it 5 times, but the render is only happening once. So this loop is null and void. It won't do nothing. So using a set actor location in a for loop is incorrect. If what it sounds like you're trying to do, instead you should be using a do end loop. Well, not do end loop, a do end sort of gate. So do end. You can enter this from something. So this could be like a tick, for example, and n could be 5. Okay, and here your exit could be set actor location or transform. I'll do again here, whatever, doesn't really matter. This will then set the actor's location 5 times very quickly after one another because it's on a tick. I could put a delay on this if I wanted to, or make this a different event so it triggers that. So yeah, for loops happen. The whole loop will happen in one tick. That's why if you do a for loop that's massive, like thousands if not millions, it will lag the game and break it probably. Oh, don't close that. What else we got? Determinator 20. How to do armor for a character? Make it fit on them. Okay, so the best way to do that is to model your armor actually on your character. So, for example, if you're using a mannequin from Unreal, you can export the mannequin. So, for example, you go to the character, mesh, and right click and go asset actions. You'll find export. And there, you can export out wherever you want the FBX file to be. Open up in Blender or Maya or whatever you're using. And you can then model on your mannequin to make, or your character to make sure it actually fits them. Once it fit them, best thing to do is then to do what we call zero them, which is basically moving and rotating the mesh so it is at 0, 0, 0 in its location and 0, 0, 0 in its rotation. That way, when you import it back into Unreal, it is perfectly fitting on the its location, and then you can socket it to the mesh. I've got a video out of my patrons for this, how to do this on the equipment system series. So that will be coming out in due course. If it hasn't really come out, I can't keep track of what's out and what isn't out now. Alexander Fox, I have a question. I'm new to Unreal. What is out of cache memory texture? How to solve that some textures are not loading? It depends, Alexander. That could be a few things. So cache memory texture, I would imagine maybe you could. Are you trying to load up more than 16 textures into a material? Because a material can only hold 16 textures. If you've got any more than that, it will get you errors and it won't work. So that could be it. I'm not too sure what the error says at that point, but it could be. Sounds like it could be that. If it'd be interesting to know what you're trying to actually achieve with your memory textures, and why they're not loading. It'd be interesting to see the actual material setup you've got loaded up there. But if it's more than 16 textures in it, then that'd be probably why. The Terminator 20. Wanted thanks. I just mainly wanted to know from RPG so enemies wouldn't release after saves or locations being reset. Okay, yeah. So yeah, as I said, you just want to make sure when you're saving data, you're saving just the crucial data. You get very laggy otherwise. Unike, hi, love your content. Oh, thank you, man. Oh, I don't know who you are, so thank you. Thanks for the subscribe. I assume you're a subscriber. Thank you. What else we got? Kim North with a non-Unreal question. Did you watch the gameplay demo of Death Stranding recently? A lot of people are concerned and calling it a walking simulator. I want to know your thoughts. Yeah, I watched it. It is a walking simulator. Pretty simple. Hideo Kojima is for his own faults actually good, and is a great developer and writer and things like that. A bit crazy with his story sometimes, but entertaining nonetheless. I think what you're going to see with this walking simulator is we've had successful walking simulators before. Journey is a walking simulator, and that was a massive success. This just seems a mixture of Journey mixed with Dark Souls, where you can interact with each other indirectly, and that's kind of cool. I very like that video, that concept. It still raises loads of questions because he's got a very narrative mindset. So it'd be interesting to see how narratively this works, and if that is going to be the case for the whole game you're doing this. So at the moment it seems very sandboxy, and I'd be concerned about the repetitive nature of it. I'm not concerned about the walking simulator part. I think that'd be fine. I'm not an issue with that. What I'm concerned with is the repetitive nature, as we haven't seen much really. We've just seen one mission essentially, so it'd be really interesting to see where that goes. We will find out later this year when it comes out. I want to play it. And so I like the whole concept of being able to leave stuff behind for other people. That's really cool, really interesting. And you can definitely tell that the focus is more on the traversal and movement rather than the combat. Combat's very non-lethal, and that's quite a good, interesting choice because we have to have conflicts in the game. You have to have something that challenges you, be it an AI character or puzzle or environmental obstacle. So you have to have some combat, but obviously he's gone for a non-lethal sort of combat, and you've got the monsters coming into it. There's quite a few layers there. It'd be interesting to see where the narrative goes with that. It could do quite a lot with that. Cal47, do you know any good 3D city generators? Not off the top of my head, no. Not city generators, no. Most people who generate cities and make cities code their own procedural generation of cities. I will be getting round to doing procedural generation of cities and buildings, things like that at some point. It's just a matter of time, that's all. Code Hugger. I have a question in making a clicker game. I'd like to know how to tell the game when I come back to give the money I made while I was out of the game, like in Adventure Capitalist. Okay, so I've done something very similar in my latest game. And what you do, so imagine this is your actor that you're working on. Let's just clear all this nonsense. When you leave the game, so I have an event here. So my event here is I leave game, whatever it may be. You want to get, you want to type in now, and this will get the time and date of you currently now. And you can right click this and split it. And you can see you are storing the year, month, day, hour, minute, second, millisecond. So you can, what you do when you leave the game is you save this to the save slot. And when you load up the game, you look at this in a save slot and calculate the difference of time between this and the current time. If the current time is over a certain value, then you can increase whatever you want, reset lives, whatever it may be. But essentially, you need to save your now data. So you can just save the structure here to the save object, save game object. And when you load up the game, you compare that saved date and time with the current date and time using the same now stuff, and then from there do what you like. Alexander again, back with the thing. So he's saying he has a few textures, but it says it's out of cache. When it is Soul City, for example, it doesn't say anything. Okay, so I'll have to have a look at your way you're doing materials. It's something I need to see in person. If you're able to send me a link to a screenshot of your blueprint, that'd be great. And I can have a look at that and get back to you with that one. Just DM me a link to it. Useful. Una, thank you for joining my Patreon a few days ago. Thank you very much. So the website. Sorry, I should really put the link of the website to the giveaway into the description. Bear with. Let me just do that. And put it into chat at least as well. No, there we go. It's in chat. And I'll put in description as well. That's me rushing around. I will put it in the description below after the stream's finished. But yes, there you go. If you've just joined us, we are doing a giveaway to just started right now, and the giveaway is that we are giving away a copy of FIFA 20 for any platform. Just head over to that link I've just sent in the chat box, and you can click on it, answer a few questions, and be entered for a free prize draw. And you can get multiple entries using the Gleam.io platform. It's really useful for me to do so and get track and stuff. So you can log in with anything you like and submit that stuff, and it'd be great. I've got, as I say, just want to give something back to people. So thank you very much, and it gives me a chance to see what people's opinions are about the channel, and yeah. So let's get back to where we are. Thank you, Determinator. Thanks, I am the best. Thank you. Dave Dumas, I'd like to see a tutorial on how to make an in-game painting system that works with multiplayer. Kind of like Rust has. So in-game painting system. Interesting challenge that. You would have to. You're storing texture data, so you'd have to somehow send texture data over to multiplayer and replicate that. That's an interesting problem to solve. I'd have to sit down and have a play around with that one. I'm not entirely sure how you'd go about it. But I'll have a think. Yeah, obviously you have to make a texture and replicate the texture somehow, but I don't think Unreal supports replicate textures just yet. Because it's quite a unique, bespoke thing. So it might be something you have to code in C++ and bring forward. I have to have a think about that one. Where do I get up to? Let's have a look. BJ Productions. Hi Ryan, I was watching your mini map video again. I had an idea, but I'm having some problems. I thought about zooming in and zooming out the map. Maybe you can even move the mouse, you know. Yeah, I wanted to go back to it eventually and add those little features that people have asked for. Just a matter of time going into it. All that stuff is handled by the material editor. But you have to be aware that it does affect then the coordinates. So you have to scale the coordinate system. It's all about making sure you keep the ratio the same. That's where people would probably trip up most. So I'll have to do a video on that at some point. Again, I don't know when. I want to try and avoid going back and redoing or upgrading previous videos until I've got more stuff that I want to get out. There's loads of stuff I want to get out. Like I want to do shopkeeper stuff. I want to do crafting, online multiplayer, loads of other stuff as well. Good night, Cal47. Kim North, Ryan, I loved your EQS AI tutorial. I just went through all 10. One question in the generate cover EQS, you mentioned the generate item type needs to be set to environment query item type point. Can you explain why, please? So, if I remember rightly, with that in front of me, the point is the node. So you know that in EQS you have the little ball shaped things. They're the things you're trying to get hold of. You want those. So you need to be you're telling it what type to generate, and you want to generate those ball things. Okay, that's what they are. They're points. Okay. I can't remember what the other options are, but that's what they are. You need those. They're the ones you use because they give you the locations, and can be scored. I can't remember what the other ones are. I have to have a look. Thank you, Alexander, for the feedback. I'm glad you enjoyed the tutorials. Code Hugger, thanks. By the way, what do you think would be the best way to make a system where you can buy different types of weapon and equip them? Like a way hang on. I really don't like creating too many actors. I'd rather use data tables, but I don't know if this is the most efficient way. If you're using loads of data, loads and loads of items, then I think data tables are really useful for that. Because you just get a load of it makes it a lot easier to manage. And the reason why data tables are really cool is that because they are just simply just tables, you can edit them in a database or a spreadsheet of some kind, and it'll just work, and it makes it really nice to organize. It saves having loads of different actors. Sometimes depends on how you organize it. But we are doing a shopkeeper one. So this current here is the in development shopkeeper tutorial series that'll be happening during October for my patrons, and probably November, December time for the public. So this will have like items here in this grid here that we'll be able to buy from this NPC, which is quite cool. Dave, you must start with signs and go for vehicles and mostly anything. I don't know what the question is there, Dave, but I'm sure it's good. Kim North, Ryan, your do-end suggestion seems to have worked. You're awesome, man. Oh, thanks. I'm glad it worked. Glad you got it figured out. Yuna K, how long have you been doing Unreal for? I think I've been doing Unreal properly for about two and a half years. Unreal properly. I dabbled in it for about half a year before then as well, but pretty much full time messing around with it for 2.5 years. Before that, I messed with. I'm pretty much an expert in Game Maker Studio as well, and Unity. That helps out a bit. Addison, can you make a tutorial on world competition for very large worlds like Costco? It's on the list to do. So yeah, eventually we'll get to level streaming and how to do large maps and large open worlds and how to accomplish that. Also go into some level design things of how to actually make a good open world level, because my experience when I've seen people make open worlds, they aren't usually that great. And people kind of think like if I just make a field, put some trees in it, and a couple of buildings, that'll be sufficient for open world. What I don't realise is that open worlds have a lot of design in them, and they try and force the player down a linear path as much as possible. So that's some of the theory stuff I want to get to at some point. There's quite a few theory videos I want to get around to making. It's just they take a lot longer to make. M7am, how's it going? It's going well. I'm very tired. It's as you can see in the clock on the corner of the stream, it is 10 to 1 in the morning, so I'm quite tired. Gino, I recently worked for a multiplayer course from Unreal Epic on YouTube, released in 2016. Unfortunately, it teaches so many things the wrong way. Would you be interested in doing a multiplayer series? I am interested in doing a multiplayer series. I will get round to it eventually. It's just a matter of time. Just getting around to it, that's all. Uh, yeah, Dave. Oh yeah, so paint thing. So, um, yeah, I say I'll have to look at how to do material replication. That's the thing I have to figure out. It's probably a custom C plus plus job. Um, in theory, it's not too bad because it's just a file that you just have to upload a file and send a file over to people. At the very least, but hey. Earthborn Jim. Hey Ryan, any ideas on a way to implement a condition system for items? For example, say I pick up food and add it to my inventory. I want it to decay after time. Oh, of course, there's a way to do it. How would you do that? So, the way I would do that is, when you open inventory, you need to check. When you open inventory, you look at the item, and you have to then get the item to check its date and tell it how much time it has left. Um, cool, yeah, it'd be messy, but you can definitely do it. You just need to make it so that when you open up the inventory, you find the items that are decaying, for example, and then you are um, somehow showing that decay value on that item. So that'll be stored and loaded up on something. Could be the game instance, could be the inventory itself, could be a save game object. But you need to save the decay value because once it's opened up in your inventory, that save value is gone. Um, Alternatively, you could change the value in a structure somewhere, and that structure then will be represented real time via the UI. There's a lots of moving parts to doing something like that, but yeah. Um, Optimization, Edison. Yes, Edison's asked about optimization. Yep, I want to get around to optimization as well. Um, my one advice for optimization, for all developers is do not worry about optimizing until the end. Too many people are optimizing all the time. The problem with doing that is, yes, you get a nice smooth part of the game, but you'll never actually finish that game because it's like trying to make a painting but obsessing over the top left hand corner for the entire time. Eventually, you'll realize you don't get the actual thing done. If you at least finish the game first, then you know your moving parts, you know what can be changed, what can't be changed, and that's where you can really optimize some things. Your biggest optimizations are going to come from audio. Audio is a massive resource hog, so I find that audio is my biggest optimization job, making sure it's loading up in what we call groups. We can customize when it loads and when it doesn't load. Quite useful. Um, Trying to get. So Kim North. Hang on, I've lost. Yes, Kim North. Ryan, the do end has a reset option. It has connected the do end to a tick event. How do I reset it after completed all iterations? So let's get that do end back up. And do end. And there it is. So if you've got a counter in your do end to 5, you will do a branch like so and check if the counter is greater than or equal to 5. And before then, you do your thing. So do whatever you need to do here. So you were doing set actor location, whatever it is. So you're doing that. Then it'll check the counter. If the counter is greater than or equal to 5, it's true. You would then call another event which will reset the counter. So this will have a custom event. Reset counter. You just call reset counter there, and it'll do its job like that. Okay. Um, Dave Dumas, how would one get a dedicated server build to include a config file for things like server name and stuff? Depend. Hang on, take a sip of drink. Oh, sorry. How would one get a dedicated server? So the config file could be actually anything. It could be a simple text file. And all you're doing then is you're sending the text file data. Probably best it's sort of a simple CSV, as it's a lot easier to get data from that than a text file using map keys and values. So it depends on what you've done with your server and where you're putting it. But I would store it as a text file. It's non-sensitive stuff. You can keep it there. It's nice and easy to read. Don't have to mess about with it too much. If it's sensitive, then obviously you have to encrypt it somehow. So that's where you probably use a JSON file encoder to encode it and hide it from players' dirty little hands. Laughing Man, I followed your AI tutorial. Really well done. Thanks, man. Oh, no, welcome. Thank you. I say plenty of AI stuff to come in the future. AI is probably one of those things I'm going to keep coming back to down the line. As says, you do AI forever. I just show the basics, and then obviously you can expand on it massively. So we'll probably will get back to it at some point. The Shooter AI series has got one website left, I think. So for patrons anyway, public I've got a few to do. But yeah, we'll be coming back to AI throughout the future, I think. Problem. Michael Landsbaum, how would you set up a patrol points on an AI without having a separate actor? Well, a separate actor is the easiest way because it allows you to place those points in a 3D space a lot easier. Alternatively, you are custom coding in and typing in an array of path point vectors and locations. So if you know the location of where you want them to go, you just type in the vector location and that would be just the same. It's just a lot easier with another actor because you can actually place them with the mouse rather than having to find out the exact coordinate. But that would be how you do it without having a separate actor. You could probably do it with EQS as well, but that'd be a lot more fiddly and a lot more random and hard to judge. Kim North, Ryan, what I think would be incredibly useful for beginners would be exercise or tutorials on vector manipulations, vector maths. Are there any plans to do this in the future? Oh, that'd be quite a good idea, yeah. So I do this a lot with my students in the classroom looking at vector stuff and just general maths really. Like this week, I was teaching my students about sine waves and how we can use sine waves values to get nice movements of values, normalized values, and how we can use those to do various different things. So yeah, good idea to use maths tutorials. That'd be quite cool. I'd like to do that actually. Gino, looking forward to a multiplayer series made by me. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it too. It'd be I've got a few interesting projects coming soon. I don't want to say too much just yet until we get it all nailed down, but I should hopefully have something exciting to share come October, end of October time ish, regarding multiplayer stuff. So watch this space as stuff may be happening in and around that time. Russell and Grand, what can I do so widgets don't go beyond the screen? I want them to be able to adjust position if they spawn close to the screen border. Okay, so Russell, I think you're using the wrong widgets. So if I go to widget blueprint, okay. So a few things that can help you out here. Say I had a button. Okay, a button. The first thing, this anchor matters a lot. So this anchor, this object here will keep relative distance from this anchor. Okay, so if it says this is 10 pixels away from the left edge of this anchor and this is 10 pixels away from the top edge of this anchor, then if I was then to scale the screen by double, that will now be a 20 pixel gap, and that'll be a 20 pixel gap. It keeps it relative to that anchor position. So, for example, if I put this over here, and suddenly the screen size has gone a lot smaller. Let's go for a lot smaller. Yeah. So if I went to a phone screen like this, you see it's off the screen. Yeah, it's kept the relative distance from this anchor here. However, if I was to go back to that, back to normal monitor, okay, and I said, okay, the anchor is actually to the right here, and put it over here, and I changed to a phone, I made it portrait. You'll notice it keeps it in, keeping that relative distance from it. So what you want to be making sure you set the correct anchor for each widget. Now, if you've got content in your widget that's overlapping, so like text, for example. So I've had some text on my button like so. Text can be auto wrapped. Down the bottom, you'll see auto wrap, or you can wrap at a certain value and it'll wrap the text so it doesn't go off the screen. If you've got an image that's going off the edge like so, you want to check that you're using panels correctly. So you're probably using a size box or scroll box. Make sure it doesn't overlap. Hopefully that helps, Ruslan. Yeah, if you're spawning these two, but if you're spawning them, I guess, ad hoc in the game, so if it like pops up bang there, if you're doing screen space, then you want to just measure the position. So if the position, and then you get the width of the total size of the thing. If you do some maths, so you just have to take away the position, compare this position with the screen size, and take away a value if it's within a certain range. I'm talking gobbledygook, but hopefully that makes sense if you're doing it. But yes, you'll need to do some maths, unfortunately. You need to work out the size of your box, take away that size away from your position if your position is over a certain amount. Yeah. Michael Landsbaum. How would I combine the patrol path actor and the AI itself? Is there a way to do it with a component? Yeah, you can do it with a component. Totally, pretty sure you can. Let's have a look. So if I've got a, let's just make one quickly. If I go into character, and we'll make a actor component, and I put that component on here. What's it called? New blueprint 2. New blueprint 2. And on that chap, you could have, I don't know if it will show, I can't remember if Unreal updated it to show or not. But if you were to say an editable show 3D widget, drag this dude out. No, you can't. So actor component, you don't not expose to 3D widgets, which is really frustrating. So the best thing to do is to make it a separate path actor if you want to try and do that. I think I might have experimented with that right at the start. We're trying to figure out a way to do it in the neatest way possible. I think I might have tried this at first, and yeah, so this is not being pulled through to your character as a 3D widget, which is really frustrating. I mean, I don't know, what could you do? I mean, if you wanted to, you don't have to do it as a component. You could just do it as a variable. So you just do path points, array, vectors. You could just do it manually on the path point like that, with path points. So when you drag this thing out, you can expose it. Yep. Why is that not showing? It's not show arrays. Is that where I'm going wrong? Should show. New var 0 is shown there. That's there. So make that back to an array. I'm guessing it's not going to let it happen. No, you can't do 3D widgets as an array. Well, that's a bummer. So no, the best way is to do it as a simple actor. That'd be the best way, probably. Oh god. Kim North again. Ryan, have you seen the new destructible features on Unreal? There was a demonstration of it where Mecha destroys a building. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's very complicated to use? I haven't used it yet. I've looked at it, and I've also used the previous destruction system inside Unreal, and it does look a lot better, and it does seem it will work. And I want to make a video on that very, very soon, as it seems quite simple to use. It's mostly down to modelling and preparing the model. But yeah, I want to try it out. Looks good. Michael Landbaum. Yeah, Michael. I think it would have to make it easy. A separate path actors best way of doing it. There may be another way. I just can't think of it right at this moment. I think that might be the only way for now. Kim North, have you played the new Zelda Link's Awakening? What are your thoughts? It looks as though it could have been made using Unreal. I haven't played it, no. I want to play it. I'm busy playing many other games at the moment, so I've tried to pull myself away from trying to play it. I played the original way back on my original Game Boy. I don't think I completed it back then, but yeah, I really want to play it. It'd be really cool. It could be made in Unreal. I have no idea if they made their own engine for it. It utilises tilt shift quite a lot, so that's quite a cool thing to do. I wonder if it was a custom engine to support that sort of effect. So yeah, I definitely I want to get to it at some point. It's just literally too many games to play, too much work to do, not enough time to play them all. So I'm just working my way through it. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, keep by all means try it. Keep messing around. I design my tutorials because I wanted people to learn techniques from them and not just follow them blindly. I want people to extend off of them and take what they've learned and make new things. And everything I show you, everyone, there's multiple ways of doing the same thing. It's just I show you the way I would do it. So I often get a lot of comments saying, "Oh, you should do it. Why don't you do it this way? Why don't do it that way?" Doesn't really matter. You can do it either way you like. It doesn't matter too much. So do what works for you, way for the way you work and way your game needs it to be. I say there's tons of ways to solve the same problem. So yeah. We're going to wrap up fairly shortly. Before I do, I want to just remind people who maybe have just joined us that we are doing a giveaway. We just launched the giveaway today, and the giveaway is for FIFA 20. So if you are interested in FIFA 20 and want to get a free copy of it, head over to my Patreon at my website ryanlady.com, and in the blog section you'll find this post. The link I'll put into the chat. Hang on. There it is. So click on that link in the chat as well. I'll put a link in the description too. You click on that and you can enter this competition and get for any platform of your choice. And I'll announce the winner on my birthday, which is the 16th of October. Happy birthday, me. So good luck for that. Just a name on your screen. Thanks for all your tutorials, man. Learning lots about blueprints. Thank you. Glad you are learning. Kim North, do you teach at university or college? Is it an entire course around gaming or a few modules? So I teach at a college, an FE college, which is for 16 to 18-year-olds primarily. However, we do get a few older students joining us as well. The course I teach is just games development. I'm the course leader and teacher of it. I'm also the manager of the whole entire media department. So I look after not just games but also media and our level 2 provision, which is for students who don't have the high enough grade to get onto level 3, the full courses. So they do a sort of level 2 primer foundation before they go on to level 3. And I'm also about to start a HNC, HND, HE, higher education that is, course in digital creative media. So that's like visual effects, games, and animation, learning with CGI and things like that. Been teaching for quite a while now. I think it's 9 years professionally. So yeah, that's right. Michael Lansbaum, you're a great YouTuber. Thanks for your informative stream. No, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. Great. Kim North, reason I ask if I am teaching university and college is to find out whether someone who doesn't want to do an entire course can still do a few modules. There are some university courses that do that. They're mostly going to be IT-based courses or art-based courses. So, for example, you might get an IT course which may have a few modules on games programming, or you may get an art course which has a few modules on 3D artwork, for example. But these will be probably taught by people who know nothing about games development typically. It's quite rare. So if you want to learn particularly games development specifically, there are plenty of courses out there which are whole kit and caboodle, the whole lot. All modules relate to games. Michael Lansman, can you explain construction scripts to me? I sure can. So construction scripts. So a construction script here. Whenever you create an actor, before it calls any code, it calls this construction script, which is as soon as it's made in in anything. So it could be in the editor or it could be actually in the game. And this construction script is a great way to basically set up the actor. Okay, so if you've got the actor do something particular at the start of the game, rather than use a begin play, it's maybe better off to use a construction script. So, for example, let's just do a quick example here to show this working. So I'm going to go set actor scale, and I'm going to do random. Can I do a random vector? Can. We'll do random vector in stream. No, not stream. Let's just put it for there. Random vector. That's just going to give us in degrees. Okay, we'll just split that. Random float in range. And we'll do a range between 1 and. Well, no, we do 0.5 and 3. I have 3 of those. Each one of these. Okay. So this thing, if I put in an actual mesh, that would help. And just call it cube. Okay. So when I drag this into the world, as it's being constructed or created in the game, it will call that code, and that includes when I change anything about it in the world. So if I move it, you'll notice it randomizes that scale. Yeah. So that's what construction script's doing. It's basically the setup of the actor, and because I'm in the editor, placing my actor in the world, it's basically recalling that setup every single time. Rather than calling begin play or anything like that, it just calls that instead. So it's very useful when you want to set up something. Okay, and it happens before any render happens or anything like that. So yeah. Follow up for that is Kim asking, what's the difference between a begin play and a construction script? Is the fact that the construction script happens before anything else happens in the actor. So begin play doesn't happen exactly at the start. The construction script happens well before then. So it happens before it's even rendered to a screen or anything like that. It happens in the sequence of loading. It happens before it gets anywhere near interactions or collisions or rendering, anything like that. So yeah, it could be quite useful in that regard. Laughing Man, did you ever use SpeedTree? And if so, would you recommend it for games? Yes, SpeedTree is great. There's also a free version of a similar software called TreeIt. I recommend TreeIt. That's quite good. Obviously not as powerful as SpeedTree. It doesn't have implementation that like SpeedTree has with UE4. But if you want a free alternative, TreeIt is a great alternative for that. I can't pronounce your name. CXLF and friends. Can you do a tutorial on how to do hologram widgets from the wrist like a Star Citizen? Also, one AI citizens that follow tasks like rebuilding a destroyed building or collecting resources. Actually, that was going to be one of the voted on options for this month's Patreon vote. Was a sort of hologram, sort of interactive widget. It could be a keypad. But it was not voted on this month. It came second. So maybe next month, patrons will get access to that video. If it gets voted on, I'll put it up on the vote again. But yes, it will be coming out. Ethical hackers. Is Quixel library free? Is Megascan library free? Quixel library free? I don't know. Check with Quixel. I'm not Quixel. I haven't used it for a long time, so I haven't looked in a long time. So Kim, yes, it is. Constructor script is the equivalent of constructor. Yes. Alexander Beckinsale. Oh, hello, Alex. How you doing? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Are you at university? Did you go to university? I can't remember now if you went to university or not. Alex, by the way, is one of my old students from last year. Was you? Oh, my mind's such a mess at the moment. I think it's last year. Could you give us a quick example of vector rotate from Kim North? I can. And let me do that. So let me just clear what I've done here, here, and here. Let's put an arrow in this thing. Cool. Okay, so the arrow component is going to be this arrow. And I'm actually going to use the construction script for this so we can actually see it working. So this thing, we're going to get rotate vector. Oh, rotate vector. So rotate vector is a node that allows you to take a vector, which is a direction, essentially a normalized value as a direction, and rotate it by a certain value. So this arrow here, I can drag this out and get its rotation, and I can get its forward vector. So that's its direction it's facing. Okay, and then I want to rotate its rotation by a certain value. So let's rotate it in the yaw by 1 degree. Okay, and then I can set that as the new rotation, or no, new direction it's facing. So I can rotate from X, make rotate from X. Yes, I think that will work. And then we will set rotation of the arrow. Like so. So as I drag this, the arrow should spin around. It doesn't, so I've used the wrong one. Make rotate. What if I just plug that in there? X vector, that's what it was. Oh, no. Stop. So, drag that in there. Not having it, is it? Chosen a poor example. Yeah, that should work. Why is that working? Let's rotate the whole thing. set rotation. Oh, hello. Okay, so as I move it, you see it working there. Okay, so it's rotating it by 1 degree as I move it. Yeah. So what's happening there is I'm getting the direction of the arrow. That's what these three are doing. Arrow component, getting its rotation, getting the forward vector, that's its direction. And then I'm rotating it by 1 degree. So a vector is not just a location. A vector can also be our direction. Okay. So that direction is being rotated in the Z, which is yaw, by 1 degree. And then I'm converting that vector into a rotator and changing its rotation. So it's in the construction script. As I move it, it will update and move the arrow around. And that's what the rotate vector does. Michael Landsbaum. So would that be a way to make a 3D vector widgets with it, or is that not possible? With the component, no. I think that's why we use a spline beforehand to accomplish the task. I'll be right back, guys. I have to go deal with my crying baby boy. You can hear him crying off in the distance. I'm going to go deal with him and make sure he's okay. So I'll be right back. Hi everyone, welcome back. I just had to deal with my son who started crying. So he's settled down now, so I'm back. We won't be going on for much longer. It is getting quite late, and I'm very, very tired. So if you have any last questions to ask, chuck them into the chat right now. whilst waiting for more questions to come through, just to let you know that we are doing a giveaway for FIFA 20. So if you want to win a copy of FIFA 20 for any of your chosen platforms, head over to my website, ryanlade.com, go to the blog section, and you'll find our blog on the giveaway. And it's free to enter, and winner will be chosen at random on the 16th of October, which is my birthday. So happy birthday to me, and I'll be giving out a present to someone else. So Alex, how you doing? So you've been assisting teacher for games at Southend now. Oh, okay, okay. That's where I used to work. Yes, plenty of things to say about that, but I won't. Um, Earthborn Gym. I have a cooking system in my project. Actor is shown cooking on fire. Currently, I have uncooked and cooked actor and destroyed the uncooked and spawned the cooked one on its place. Is doing it this way okay, or should I have just one actor and be changing the mesh of the uncooked actor to a cooked mesh? Update details held in the structure cooked mesh values. Both are totally valid. I don't think I'll change anything about that. I think, yeah, nothing wrong with the way you said it. I would go for that. Just to confirm, guys, it's not my birthday yet. October 16th. That's my birthday. I'll be. How old will I be? Christ. 32. I'll be 32. Um. Soma Cruise lighting for mobile. Yeah, I want. There's loads of lighting tutorials I want to do at some point. We'll get to them. At the moment, I'm working on water materials. There's one water material at the moment for patrons. But yeah. Ethical Hackers Crystal Library is not free. Materialize, is that free? I don't know, but you can have a Google and to look at the website. You'll find for yourself there. Okay. Just so you all know, next week's live stream is back onto our Zombies Ate My Neighbours remake, where we'll be remaking that game in Unreal Engine 4. We've done 2 episodes so far in it. We're going to do a third next Sunday at midnight GMT. So make sure you pop by then to watch that video. If you want to see this video in the archive straight away, head over to patreon.com/Ryan Laley, where you can watch this as well as many other videos before anyone else. Otherwise, live stream archives are released 2 weeks after their initial recording. In next week's zombies game, we'll be probably taking a look at the weapon system and trying to get that working, I think, and be able to switch weapons, and we'll get the water pistol working, hopefully. And swap into like maybe a grenade, like the Coke can grenade thing. That would be cool. Yeah. Peter, you can still ask a question. That's fine. While that's loading up, I'm just going to put this onto the giveaway page for a second. I'm just going to load up and show you what I'm currently working on as well. Sort of behind the scenes thing. Give you a sneak peek. So this month, the vote for my patrons and my YouTube members, they voted for a dynamic third-person camera system. So that's what I've been preparing, and we'll be recording at some point this week. So I'm just loading up now. I'll give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes of that. Una K, Ryan, do you live in England? I do. I live in England, yes. And you read from my message that you would like to do this full time. I ask what your primary work is. Yes, so currently I'm a teacher in real life. I teach and manage media and games at a college in Essex in England. Um, I would love to do what I'm doing right now full time. Um, Obviously, being a teacher, full time teacher, and a full time manager, my time is very much blocked out completely. And if I was able to do this full time, it would mean probably a video a day, a stream a day. I would like to do more interviews with developers and indie and pro industry vets as well. Um, Meet with more people from Epic Games, get them talking and sharing their experiences and things like that. So I'd like to do loads of stuff down the line. So hopefully one day this will get popular enough where I can afford the risk of trying to take this full time. I have to be very careful though, because obviously I do have a family to support. So um, that has to go into consideration. I have to make sure I'm earning enough from this in order to be like a sort of safety net going forwards. But yeah, I say like if all my subscribers that I had donate just $1 a month, um, I would easily be able to do it full time, no problem. So yeah, literally just $1 a month helps massively. Um, Peter, so you followed my minimap tutorial and had to add certain numbers to the function that gets the player's position to set the map location because my map was not set at 00. It worked, but when I try to zoom in, it gets messed up. Is there a way around this? You when you're zooming in, yeah, you'll need to offset it. I can't remember how I did it now in the video, but it'll need some offsetting. Um, Obviously the easiest solution is to make sure you make your map with the center at 00, but you can offset the zoom to take the correct position. Um, I can't remember. It was so long ago when I made that video. But they need that at some point. As an offset, we should be adding a value to it based on whatever the difference is between your current position and the 00 position at the start of the game. Okay, so this is a bit of sneak behind the scenes of the dynamic third person camera system. So there'll be two types of cameras. We're going to have a tracking camera, which tracks the player's movement sideways, upwards, and forwards. You can customize that, and you can exit and return to the third person character. And the other one is a rotator, which rotates and follows the camera and the player, like so, and they can exit like so. So this is what will be coming out next week, hopefully for patrons, and probably a month or two after that for the public, showing how to do this. So this sort of camera system you see in a lot of third person action adventure games when you're doing sorts of things like climbing stuff. Typically happens quite a lot. Devil May Cry uses this a lot. Yeah, it's just a way of customizing stuff. Yeah, it's neat, and you can just kind of see what's happening here. I created my custom actors. But yeah, that'll be coming soon. I hope this week at some point. Just need to tidy up a few things, make sure it looks and works perfectly. That'd be quite cool. Unik, how often do you live stream? I live stream every single week at this time. So far, so good. This is week 9, 8, something like that. But yeah. Abdudi65, what inspired you to become a game developer / teacher? I originally wanted to be an architect, funny enough. So I like designing houses, and that was when I was a kid. I liked doing that. So I studied all my courses. I studied for being architecture. And one day I entered a magazine competition, which was design a horror game. And I was playing Resident Evil quite a lot at the time, so I spent the whole summer designing this Resident Evil game. And that kind of got me the taste of wanting to be a game developer or game designer. So I then changed tack. So then I went and done a degree in it. Done 3 years of that. And when I got out there, it was during the 2007-2008 recession. Um, so I've got a few interviews, but nothing concrete, and I was just hemorrhaging money from to bills and things like that. And I got a job as a support person in a classroom at a college, and one of the classes I supported was games development, which is fine because my experience was in that. And then one day there was a job opening. I went in to do it. So again, I was hemorrhaging money. I needed some cash quick. So I got into it that way, and so just by accident, I'm now teaching and now managing full time. Yeah. Um, so Kim North, that camera system will work in the doors. Yep, this will work wherever you want. You can do whatever you like with this. Set up ladders, doors, whatever you like. Unik, how long have you been doing tutorials on YouTube for? We're coming up to 2 years now. I started in end of October 2 years ago, so come up to the 2 year anniversary. Peter, have you worked on a large game project of your own? It looks like you definitely have the skills, so I've always wondered if you've tried to make one yourself. No, I didn't. I've always avoided working on a large game project on my own because I knew I wouldn't be able to do it. Large projects require a lot of people, time, money, investments, all that sort of thing. So I always set myself realistic goals and try and make something simple, so something quick I could do. Um, so I made some short games that came out, released them no problem. Um, so I kind of stick to smaller games until I can afford a team. If I can afford a team of artists, especially, I could do art, but I much prefer if other people did it. Um, Art and animators. Yeah, so if I can afford those, then obviously I can upscale and do more stuff. I have plans for big games. I've got game design ideas for everything from little indie title type games to big MMO projects. I'm not short of ideas at all. It's just a matter of resources, really. Um, do you have a Discord server? I do, and it is for my Patreon. So if you want to join it, head over to patreon.com/Ryan and just donate $1 and you can go onto the Discord channel. On there, we have a growing community where we share project ideas, we bug test each other's stuff, we share problems, and hopefully try and help fix each other's stuff. Yeah. Laser Cat 05. Hello, I think I found some bug. Okay, what's the bug? So Laser Cat, if you want video is a bug on your channel. Video on your channel. I don't know if can look it up. Moment. My setup I've got here. But if you DM me a link to it, I'll try and take a look at it sometime tomorrow in the week and get back to you on it. That'd be great. Okay, I think we're gonna have to end it there, guys. Before we go and say goodbyes, I just want to remind people of our giveaway. So we are giving away a copy of FIFA 20 for the platform of your choice. To enter, just head over to ryanlady.com, head over to the blog section, you'll find our first post. You'll be able to find a link in the description box as well as in the chat. Eventually, when I get to typing it in correctly. Yeah, so click on that link and you'll be able to enter the competition to win FIFA 20 for the platform of your choice. So once again, thank you very much for everyone for joining me tonight. Our next live stream will be next week, looking at working on part 3 of our Making a Game, making Zombies Ate My Neighbours remake. Over there and keep watching the tutorials. More videos coming out each week. Patrons have had 3 videos out this week for basic things like double jump, sprinting, and jump pads. Next week they'll start getting the end of the shooter AI series and the end of the equipment AI series, as well as this newfangled way of doing cameras in third person. So that's all coming this week for patrons, and yeah, we'll get there. So thanks very much for joining us this evening. I'm now going to go to bed, and so I wish you all a good night and keep on learning. And I'll see you all around next time. Bye bye.